You really shouldn't be surprised to be watching this. Every baseball season surprises us somehow, and 2025 has of course been no different. So let's run through some of the unforeseen developments that have come out of left field, and other positions too. For one, it's been the year of the big dumper. Having averaged 30 homers over the previous 3 seasons and won the Platinum Glove in the American League last year, Mariners catcher Cal Raleigh had already made a name for himself to go with one of the best nicknames in the sport. But in leading the majors in home runs, winning the home run derby, and having arguably the greatest offensive season for a catcher in history, the big dumper has had the kind of momentous year that could make him the first catcher to win an MVP since Buster Posey in 2012. Raleigh joined Mickey Mantle as the only switch hitters to reach 50 homers in a single season, and he did it before the calendar even flipped to September. Next up, Milwaukee's magnificence. It's hard for a team to exceed expectations in consecutive seasons. That's why the Manager of the Year honor, so oriented around exceeding expectations, has only had back-to-back winners twice. The Braves' Bobby Cox in 2004 and 05, and the Rays' Kevin Cash in 2020 and 21. Milwaukee manager Pat Murphy could join that short list this year on a Brewers team that was a division winner last year, but lost one of its best bats in Willy Adames, traded one of its best arms in Devin Williams, and seemed to be retooling. Instead, the Brew Crew has been one of baseball's best teams, thanks in part to completely unexpected impact from low-profile, in-season trade pickups Andrew Vaughn and Quinn Priester, from minor league Rule 5 pickup Isaac Collins, 14th round draft pick and Division III product Caleb Durbin, and from minor league free agents Jared Koenig and Blake Perkins. How about another surprise first-place club in the Toronto Blue Jays? Forget what we thought going into the season. The Jays were 8 games back in the AL East as recently as May 28th. It didn't look good. It seemed like another disappointing year for a team that finished 5th last season. But the Jays found their footing, fielding a deep and rotating lineup that produces high contact and runs the bases well. The jolt of upside from the recently acquired and activated Shane Bieber adds to the potential for this to be the first Jays team to advance in October since the 2016 ALCS squad, and maybe the first to go the distance since Joe Carter touched them all back in 1993. While the Blue Jays are special, the Dodgers are just kind of normal, and this too is a surprise. The Dodgers have a good record. They'll be a playoff team. They might win their division, as expected. And for all we know, they might waltz to their 2nd consecutive World Series championship. But anyone who thought this was a capital S super team with an unfair payroll advantage, capable of cruising past 100 wins, and maybe even challenging the all-time wins record, and looking at the internet archives, that sure was a lot of us, has been proven wrong by a Dodgers club that at times has looked like it's sleepwalking through the season. Injuries have intervened, as they tend to do, but the Dodgers have also dealt with surprising regression from Mookie Betts' bat, bullpen foibles, defensive issues, and other setbacks. So it turns out the wins record holding 1906 Cubs and 2001 Mariners are safe and sound. The Tigers are safe and sound in first place in the American League Central, and that shouldn't be a surprise given how they finished 2024. What is a surprise is how they've done it. Javier Baez, who wasn't even a part of the late season run last year and was generally seen as washed up, filled an unexpected need in center field early in the season and had an all-star first half. Spencer Torkelson and Casey Mize once looked like failed first-rounders, but this year they've been linchpins. The Yankees seem content to get rid of Gleyber Torres, but he's been one of the better pickups of the offseason. Catcher Dylan Dingler has broken through, and Colt Keith has gone from man without a position at the start of the year to a key contributor at a variety of positions, most recently third base. On the flip side are the teams that are surprisingly not very good. Unfortunately, we're looking at you, Orioles and Braves. According to Fangraphs, the Braves entered the season with a 93.4% chance of reaching the playoffs and a 64.2% chance of winning the NL East. After an underwhelming offseason that didn't definitively address their pitching needs, and in a deep division, the Orioles' odds weren't quite as strong, 45% for the playoffs and 16.6% for the AL East, but they were still considered a contender. Turns out, the fall from grace was swift for both of these squads. The Braves started out 0-7, while the O's went 9-16 in April and 9-18 in May. Both of these clubs will spend the offseason coming to terms with what went wrong and which direction to go from here. One guy who figures to do quite well this offseason is pending free agent Kyle Schwarber, a surprising MVP candidate in the National League. Schwarber has been arguably the most valuable NL player this side of Shohei Ohtani because of his unusual combination of elite power and high on base. Schwarber, Ohtani, and Aaron Judge are the only players this year with an OBP of at least 360 to go with 40 homers. Schwarber's had a power-packed career, no doubt, but this is the first time he figures to reach the big 5-0 in the homer tally. Not what you'd expect in his age 32 season. And Schwarber was the star of another surprise, the first ever All-Star swing-off. MLB's plans to settle any All-Star ties with a swing-off were made public back in 2021. But by the time we actually had a tie after 9 innings, fans could be forgiven if they had forgotten about this post-9th inning possibility. There was genuine curiosity as to how this would look and work. But lo and behold, the remaining players from both squads came out of the dugout to root on their tater-hunting teammates. Schwarber heroically hit 3 dingers in 3 swings, and the National League prevailed in what was widely considered an awesomely entertaining ending for an exhibition. On July 25th, Nick Kurtz staged his own personal swing-off, part of a surprisingly dominant rookie season for the A's 22-year-old first baseman. Going into the season, Kurtz wasn't even widely considered to be the top Rookie of the Year candidate on his own team. That was Jacob Wilson, who did wind up starting for the American League in the All-Star game. But Kurtz has blown everyone, even high-impact performers like Red Sox outfielder Roman Anthony and Royals starter Noah Cameron, out of the water in the AL rookie race. On July 25th, he became the first rookie and only the 20th player ever with a 4-homer performance, while also becoming just the second player after Sean Green in 2002 to go 6 for 6 with 4 homers and 19 total bases. Not bad for a guy drafted just last year. Pete Crow Armstrong's power breakout took a little longer, but it unexpectedly arrived in a big way this year. Viewed as a speed and defense type going into 2025, PCA shockingly cranked out 25 homers by the All-Star break to give the Cubs an incredibly potent asset in center field. On the flip side, there's Josh Naylor, who is already known to have power, but this year has showcased speed? Well, not speed so much, but definitely stolen bases. Naylor had 35 steals total across the first 6 seasons of his MLB career, but he had more than 20 before the end of August this year, and 10 of those came in his first 12 games with the Mariners after a midseason trade from Arizona. The only other player in MLB history with 10 or more steals in his first 12 games with the franchise was Billy Hamilton with the 2013 Reds. Hamilton was listed at 6 foot, 160 pounds, and was one of the fastest players MLB had ever seen. Naylor is listed at 5 foot 10, 235 pounds, and is in just the 3rd percentile in MLB in sprint speed. It wasn't surprising to see the Diamondbacks trade the pending free agent Naylor this summer, but the Rafael Devers and Carlos Correa trades came out of nowhere. Boston's Devers divorce was preceded by plenty of positional drama. First with him unhappy about moving to DH to accommodate Alex Bregman, and then with him unwilling to try out first base after a season-ending injury to Tristan Casas. Devers was the Red Sox best hitter, and trading him was viewed by some as a potential punting of the 2025 season. But while the Giants team that took on his large contract, and has him playing some first base, has struggled, and Devers has not found Oracle Park to be as suitable to his swing, the Red Sox have moved on from the salary dump and played better baseball than they did with Devers. Go figure. The Correa swap was more straightforward, but still a stunner. The Twins were mired in mediocrity and looking for a reset, while the Astros were trying to account for an injury to third baseman Isaac Paredes. So Correa was able to return to the team that he really never wanted to leave in the first place. Finally, let's close with a closer, Aroldis Chapman. Every year, there are a ton of surprise reliever stories. But in 2025, one such surprise towers above them all, because who would have thought a 37-year-old Chapman would be putting up video game numbers? Signed by Boston last winter, Chapman is on pace for the best ERA, ERA+, and walks and hits per inning pitched marks of his long and fruitful career. And yes, he keeps delivering that high-velocity heat, much like baseball keeps delivering storylines that no one saw coming.